Fans and critics have not only taken to the music of Pantayo, but to what the collective stands for. Musically, they explore the possibility of the traditions and instruments of Southern Philippine kulintang via electronic music and synth-based grooves. Their experiences as queer diasporic Filipinas define and inspire a fresh, original, creative, and unapologetic stance and example, on stage and off.
Because I think the biggest difference between now and then and when we were meeting before on a weekly basis was that we would just kind of hash out an idea.
Because Michelle has been sending song ideas. Maybe Michelle and I could do workshops and ideas while the three of you are doing like coolie things.
My name is Irene and I am the keyboardist, bassist, and vocalist of Pantayo. My pronouns are she, they, and playing with a band like Pantayo has allowed me to focus on composing and arranging, which I love. I find there's strength in those numbers and strength in the fact that Pantayo has members that have a wide range of musical interests.
My name is Kat from Pantayo. I'm a diasporic queer woman of color that centers intentional and embodied remembering in creating for the senses. Listening to sounds and non-sounds is a big part of my life and is my primary way of learning. Seeking a better life in another country, providing for the future, getting uprooted and disconnected. These are sacrifices that many immigrant families know too well, including my own. Sometimes I feel nostalgic about a reality that could have been, sometimes ragey, often confused. And when doubt clouds my mind, I find that creating for myself and with others is the most unlikely cure. For me, being able to make music with Pantayo is essential to not only healing from the past, but also in shaping a future that I can be excited about. So who am I and what do I believe in? Aspects of myself that I choose to divulge are almost always identifiers, referencing nouns I associate with the most, which can continue to perpetuate systems of oppression or challenge them to their course. Katrina is the name I was given at birth at the metropolitan city called Manila, in the group of islands now called the Philippines. Somewhere along the way, I was uprooted and replanted in Toronto as a settler immigrant benefiting from colonial and capitalist systems that continue to displace and dissolve. I could also say that I am a transient being on the path of consciousness given this limited time on Earth, with a body and mind, with blessings and lessons that help me transcend. I recognize I've been gifted a mind that can think outside of the box and an ear that helps synthesize sounds drawn from current and imagined memories. It is with this bounty that I'm able to rejig and recreate creation. LOL, but also for real, for real.
My name is Jo. I was born in the Philippines. Looking back at my childhood, karaoke, radio, and lip syncing played a big part. I kind of laugh and look fondly at the complicated and funny relationship I've always had with music, music school, bands, and how that's kind of shaped my relationship to music.
Hi, my name is Michelle. I was born in the Philippines and I migrated to Canada in the 90s. There was so much about myself that I used to hate. You know, this self-hate from built-up shame and guilt became my number one inspiration to hide who I truly was. This moment changed the course of my life. You know, I start to feel a sense of freedom and I was, you know, feeling a little bit empowered. You know, this is when I went back to school. I met Pantayo. Yeah, and now I realize that because I'm able to love myself truly, freely, and fiercely, that I'm also able to love outwards as well.
No, we no world stoppers, we are world class. Sisters gonna comfort the system with a beat. Won't listen to the beat of our instrument, sound of our resistance. We won't be an enemy, and if you fuck up, here we go. tell the truth, cause they know good, oh. They lie, they will never tell the truth. Never tell the truth, cause they know good, oh. One day we was walking by and I heard so fly when we heard on the slide that we fucked you, really, really fucked you, really dislike you, gave you attitude. So we just rolled our eyes and kept walking by, cause we ain't got time for this shit, bye-bye, yeah. They lie, they will never tell the truth, they will never tell the truth, cause they don't look good, oh. They lie, they will never tell the truth, never tell the truth, cause they don't look good, oh. They lie, they will never tell the truth, they will never tell the truth, cause they know it ain't cute, oh. They lie, they will never tell the truth, never tell the truth, cause they know good, oh. They lie, no good. They lie, no good. They lie, they will never tell the truth, they'll never tell the truth. No good. They will never tell the truth, they'll never tell the truth. They lie, they will never tell the truth, they'll never tell the truth. No good. They will never tell the truth, they'll never tell the truth. They lie, they lie, they lie, they lie, they lie, they lie, they lie. No good, no good, no good, no good. They lie, they lie, they lie, they lie, they lie. They lie, they will never tell the truth, never tell the truth, cause they know good, oh.
Oh, what a great song. زيد كتر في صلاته يا الفاني بعد حياتنا بنا شافي عمته كتروا بالصلاة عليه زيد كتر في صلاته يا الفاني بعد حياته نبينا شافي عمته كتروا بالصلاة عليه.
Fusing rumba, flamenco, and traditional music from North Africa, including Gnawa and Chabi, Labess reflects not only cultural diversity, but the necessity of uniting despite our differences.
زيد كتر في صلاته يا الفاني بعد حياته نبينا شافي عمته.
Founder and frontman Najim Buzul sings in Arabic, French, and Spanish about exile, the joys and the distress that punctuate the road from native country to welcoming country, and back again, ultimately embodying the definition of the group's Arabic name, All Is Well.
I grew up in Algeria until 18 years old. So we came to Quebec, Canada, with my family, and I started in the subway, playing on the street and busking. It's my school. So when somebody give you money, it's that he liked your music. So it's a good school, and even now we do like big venues and stuff, but I come back always to the subway and to the street, because for me it's the real life, and you connect with people. My influences are like two roots, like the African roots and the gypsies roots. So it's a mix with Arab people, Jewish people, gypsy people, and Spanish people. So it's a kind of fusion too. There is a fourth album coming in this September. It's joining like Arab music, flamenco music with South American and Colombian, Cuban music together. The name of this album is Yema. Yema means mom, my mother, because I think that my mother was a warrior. She was with 3 kids in Algeria. My father died really young, at 37 years old, and she was like running all the stuff, the job and everything. And so this album, it's for me, it's like important. It's a homage for my mother, Sarah.
Ma liberté, longtemps je t'ai gardée comme une perle rare. Ma liberté, c'est toi qui m'as aidé à larguer les amarres pour aller jusqu'au bout, pour aller n'importe où, des chemins de fortune. Cueillir en rêvant une rose des vents sur un rayon de lune. Ma liberté devant tes volontés, mon âme était soumise. Ma liberté, je t'avais pourtant tout donné. Ma dernière chemise. Et combien j'ai souffert satisfaire tes moindres exigences. J'ai changé de pays, j'ai perdu mes amis pour gagner ta confiance. Ma liberté, tu as su désarmer toutes mes habitudes. Ma liberté, toi qui m'as fait aimer, même la solitude. Toi qui m'as fait sourire quand je voyais fini une belle aventure. Toi quand j'allais me cacher pour soigner mes blessures. Toi qui m'as fait sourire quand je voyais fini une belle aventure. Toi qui m'as protégé quand j'allais me cacher pour soigner mes blessures. Ma liberté, pourtant je t'ai quitté. De décembre, j'ai déserté des chemins écartés que nous suivions ensemble. Lorsque sans me méfier, les pieds et poings liés, je me suis laissé faire. Jolien.
Born to Haitian parents in Montreal, Waahli is a self-taught jack of many trades: rapper, guitarist, beatmaker, and more. His career in music was foreshadowed by the eagerness of his father, an accomplished guitarist, to share the music of home with a young Waahli. His discovery and love affair with hip-hop focused his career's direction. Also a member of the hip-hop collective Nomadic Massive, his solo sound is inspired by his upbringing, plus soul, funk, afro-pop, jazz, Haitian, and Afro-Caribbean musical influences, and the work of Black activists.
Hey yo, what up everybody? My name is Waahli. I'm happy to be with y'all tonight or today. Wherever you be in the world, come closer to the screen. We're gonna have a good time. I'm surrounded by amazing musicians. We're gonna do a nice show just for you.
I'm interested in Caribbean Creole languages and the piece of Trinidadian French Mexican Creole is very special.
Come closer, everybody, come on.
Travel high into the deep into forest to find the last speakers of a dying language.
Cette tradition par une trahison. Rio nous compte manger Rio et ça qui fait connaître. C'est dans la suite, moi et Marie m'a toujours été fidèle. La mandé qui côté, même si qu'il est dans moi. Nous pensons bien que rétormer, c'est pas un temps d'honneur. You wanna do it for some feelings, we can stop with it. Mais c'est normal, ça nous regarde dans mon capoeira. Et l'amour, grâce à yo, nous t'es caporal. En accord, en désaccord, moi pas prétendre. Mais si on fait au cap, vous voyez mon cap postal. La mandé, commandant, la pour Mandela. T'es chargé qui vient chez ta pour penser. On s'est oiseaux sous temps pour libérer tête, donc c'est Leslie. Lundi, libre pour faire laisser. Paris pour démarrer, qui s'en a petit après saisi. Jean Mosaïen t'es dit. Nous pas gagner pour de petit, mais c'est qu'on ça Noël. Des racines, des naissances qui pas qu'à des notes. Toute richesse qui n'appelle qu'on est fait dans tourner. Avec qui même, on peut oublier ça, s'utiliser. derrière pour la bouger devant mon chef. On prend rien pour nous, on prend on s'y fait. Nous pas besoin à travailler, nous c'est festival. On sort du gros sail, on partage des fritailles. On fait des autres pour y'en tenter tout être pas bétail. Pour faire, c'est pour yoga.
Suyo was my first song that I ever wrote in Haitian Creole, like a full song, like my whole solo material. So, and this song talks about once your like shoulders are heavy with burdens and like stress and problems, you know, it's not necessary to put more weight on their shoulders because they're already going through a struggle. So I always felt I identify with that because the struggle of being Black and born in Montreal has been a struggle to also have to show and prove your identity, and then it's always been this like constant conflict, identity crisis. Even though like my first language I was saying is Haitian Creole, I never spoke Creole until I was like kind of a teen age. My parents was always like, you need to learn French and speak French well because it's a very difficult language and that's where you need to focus. You don't need to learn about Creole. But despite I'm like Quebecois, Canadian, born and raised here, people always perceived me as, you know, a Black person. They used to always be like, you know, hey, where you from? I was like, I'm from Montreal. And they were like, no, really, where you from? You know, that classic, you know, double question making you feel like, okay, sense of belonging's kind of gone. So I was like, well, you know, I think it's important for me to learn Creole, Haitian Creole, because it's part of my identity, you know? And part of my identity, I think it's important to solidify that part of me because it's part of me. It's a part of my parents' history and my ancestors and the storyline of my life, basically. Having to learn Haitian Creole, I think, gave me the sense of the strength that I needed to also be strong in confronting the obstacles that was put in front of me in regard to my musical journey.
We're gonna jump on the next song. It's off my latest EP called Soul Opera. Next song is called Rad. All wrapped in my Haitian Creole mother tongue. So check it out. Rad means clothes, so we're changing clothes. Bringing vibes. Yeah. Côté de sortie, ce sent bien mariner. Mon créa, quand y'aime fait miracle, la demain, qu'elle est. Pas qu'on aime pour qui ça y a m'traîner. L'aime pour faire mou, c'est pour marcher qu'on fait l'air. Avant ma noyée, tête moins non bol clair. Fait ménage dans tête femme, en plus, en général. C'est pour ça que ça m'appelle, c'est pour telle femme. Les familles qui ont grandi, mais ça fait une complicité. Pas jambe la caille, son bon normal. Pas jambe sous place, qu'on les pieds bourrés. Moins qu'on la mer, moins pas jambe qu'un décrasse. Pile ou pas, sur les barrières, ça fait longtemps pas grand chiasse. Chaque jour, même bagaille. nous vînes pour le travail, sous un champ de bataille, ta vîne pour PI. C'est bon vibe, nous vînes bye. Si on négatif, ça m'a tout c'est bye bye, bon bye bye. Carré, 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 carré. Grand-maman pour qui ça wap kalil. Il garde mon joli c'est pour jam dans sorti. L'aime petit mon yo t'es ton de visage et bio relève nek chabon. Non moi c'est nek marron. J'ai quitté dans pied plus crasé depuis longtemps. Kounya dans vidéo mais c'est dans qu'on appelle chaîne. Ça matériel, temporel. Comme ça si belle ou d'arremel bon jimel. T'as mieux tourné vous quittez Marseillais. Maintenant c'est un comportement qu'on nouvelle c'est belle. Gaïe, gaïe, gaïe. Gaïe, gaïe, gaïe.
My musical journey really started with my dad being a guitar player. He used to play a lot of, plucking, riffing, like Haitian songs, beautiful songs too, Léon Dimanche, Tabou Combo, Coupé Cloué. But basically, I fell in love with hip-hop culture in the 90s through radio, community radio stations, which used to play all hip-hop music at 3 a.m. So you had to be up at that time to record on tape cassettes. The first song that I heard, like from De La Soul, for example, Say No Go, I identify myself right away. There was no question asked. I didn't speak the language, which was really interesting. I didn't speak English at that time, but I was like, damn, man, that song speaks to me. There's something that resonates that I was like, wow, and I needed to know more. And that's why I was staying up. I used to press record and, fall asleep. The next day I was like, I didn't know what my tape was recorded it. The next day I was listening to my tape and I could hear the radio host talking over some dope instrumental that I wanted to rap on. The next day I was like, damn, man, the radio host is just talking too much right now. I'm trying to rap on this beat, But then I didn't speak English, but interestingly enough, I was writing the raps phonetically and then reciting them, and I was like, I know it was all gibberish. I was like, hey, what's up, it's so bad. It's so bad, it's so bad. That's how this journey happened.
I'm happy to be here with y'all tonight, right here, right now, in this moment. We're gonna jump on the last song. It's called Blier Ça. There's a video. You can check it out on YouTube. And then Blier Ça means forget about it. It's about taking your space, owning your space, be who you are at the time and the moment and space that you exist. So let's do it. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. For Jacques. Yeah. Nous gen wa, nous gen ren, nous fort, nous gen pouvoir. C'est pour ça yo demande m'ki don bagage là. C'est maintenant qui paye corps, gen moun qui bat les corps. C'est pas yo qui gade l'homme yo, mon juge à pop. On est dos, la tournée, expérience en les besoins. J'ai un bon gars, moi, merci, l'on a senti. Sois au libéris, n'a une idée qui t'aile, ouais, l'idée perdue. Non, bon, c'est belle. Nous gare, nous monte na wè sa ka yo. Yo pa ple pou nou zite la, lè joti yo mè kriye sa. Yo pa ple pou nou zite la, lè joti yo mè kriye sa. Yo pa ple pou nou zite la, lè joti yo mè kriye sa. Yo pa ple pou nou zite la, lè joti yo mè kriye sa. Nou passe li a chwet nan li nan jen li sove li bat tout nek rom moun nga li gen moun jak jou a puse sin sou nou. Kouni nou pre nou bache dok pou se ka la lou tande. De gon rem nou tout bezwen tande. De gon malen nan bache de on moun mande. La moun pos popo mwen kade prepo. Se mon dosye ki rele 1804. Gele yo fou, yo pa boy yo vlen pliye. Gele yo sou, ma pou toune la kan gaye ou pa gen kou. Gade jam la ge bag sou nou. Anse le peta kou nou fin poche yo soum. Jomou yo pa vle pou nou zite la. Yo me kriye sa, yo pa ple pou nou zite la, lè joti yo me kriye sa. Yo pa ple pou nou zite la, lè joti yo me kriye sa. Yo pa ple pou nou zite la. Come on, tout le monde, everybody sing. Yo, et yo, bébé, à qui j'en nous compte fouetter, devant, derrière, si on vit les ponts en l'air, bébé, à qui j'en nous compte fouetter. Met mon en l'air, regardez derrière, pour bouger devant. Quand si mon y'a quand c'est pour quitter le palais. Regardez derrière, pour bouger devant. Pas pousser la motion, je vous parle. Regardez mon yo, ti yo là. Et c'est mon ti à petit cognac. Et ça fait date mon cher nous là. Et nous pas bouger ça. Yo pas plein pour nous dire là. Mais yo ti yo me crier ça. Yo pas plein pour nous dire là. Mais yo ti yo me crier ça. Yo pas Thank you for watching. Waahli, peace, and thanks to all these musicians right here. Give a big shout out. JM, Toma, Teacup, Farley, and my man Evan Shea. And the one in the back who screamed for Jacques. Big shout out to Butter Beats.
From finding their calling at underground warehouse party performance winning TVA's Fait comme chez vous à Télévisée Musique Compétition Montréal, the liquor store is not your average jazz band. Meeting in music school while studying jazz, adding funk, R&B, and more to the mix, and working across Montreal's fertile hip-hop, funk, and culturally diverse music scene has created a desire to cross musical boundaries.
We met in college here in Montreal. At some point I really wanted to have a band for myself where I could compose and have other band members compose for it too, and then I knew about a gig in my hometown that I really wanted to play at, so I got together a couple of friends of mine that I thought were the best musicians from that school.
The band started 10 years ago. We found ourselves when we played at an underground party with lots of room. It was like an empty warehouse, very cool. And that's when we found our calling. We played for a lot of people, and we were a little bit more funky that night. And that's when the idea of the liquor store came into life.
Just identifying a style of the band. For us, it doesn't really matter. We just try to write good music, but people seem to like labels, and we're not quite jazz, we're not quite funk. We kind of just do our thing.
The 7 members came from very different musical backgrounds. So some of us started out playing in rock bands and metal bands. Some of us were really into hip hop. Our saxophone, Alex Franca, was really deep into jazz. So I guess everybody came up with different kind of ideas to compose. So there was like a process of composition that included lots of varying styles, and we tried to really never put ourselves in a box where we had to accomplish just one specific style. So I guess that's what makes a very nice blend of all kinds of music and makes our music very original.
So in terms of collaborations, we want to put Montreal more on the map. We have a lot of great talent from here, so we want to expand with international collaborations and include some musicians from Montreal to really get things going, you know?